Maya thought she understood her mother. She was wrong. It took her mother's death and a handful of old receipts to realize how much love had been hidden from her. The first time Maya found the receipt, it was tucked inside a library book her mother had returned, To Kill a Mockingbird, dog-eared and smelling faintly of coffee and lavender hand soap. It wasn't the book that made her pause. It was the date, March 12, 2 days before her high school graduation, and the itemized list beneath it. 1 pair women's dress shoes, $89.99, 2 boxes store-brand pasta, $3.49, children's multivitamins, $6.75, balance paid with EBT. Maya stood in the quiet hallway of their old apartment, sunlight slicing through dusty blinds, and felt something crack open in her chest. She was 28 now. Her mother, Diane, had been dead for 6 months. She died quietly, as she'd lived, without fanfare, without complaint. A sudden arrhythmia, the doctor said. Her heart just gave out. Maya remembered how clean the hospital room had been, how neat Diane's hands looked folded over the blanket, like she'd been waiting politely for someone to arrive before slipping away. No one had been there. Not even Maya. She'd been in Chicago for a work conference, answering emails about quarterly projections, while her mother's pulse flatlined 3 states away. Now, back in Diane's tiny 2-bedroom in Akron, sorting through decades of silence disguised as normalcy, Maya kept finding these receipts. In coat pockets, taped inside recipe cards, folded into the spine of a worn Bible. Each one a breadcrumb, leading deeper into a life she never saw. Diane had raised Maya and her younger brother Leo alone after their father vanished when Maya was 5. He needed space, Diane used to say, voice light, eyes fixed on the stove. Some people aren't built for staying. She never spoke ill of him, never cried in front of them. She worked double shifts at the nursing home, days as a CNA, nights cleaning offices downtown. Came home smelling of antiseptic and floor wax, humming off-key lullabies while folding laundry at midnight. Maya remembered birthday cakes from the grocery store bakery, slightly dented but frosted with extra care. Field trips funded by a little bonus from work. There were no bonuses. New sneakers every fall, always on sale, always a half size too big so they'd last longer. She thought it was normal. Everyone's mom clipped coupons, right? Everyone's house smelled faintly of boiled cabbage and hope. But the receipts told another story. 1. Dated December 23. Listed. 1 turkey, $22.49, manager's discount. Canned green beans, 99 cents. Box stuffing mix, $1.29. Below it, in smudged pencil, Leo's winter coat, $45, paid in installments. The total came to $78.32. Diane's paycheck that week, $212. After rent, utilities, bus fare, and Maya's braces payment plan, there was nothing left. Yet Christmas morning, there were wrapped gifts under a spindly tree strung with popcorn and tinfoil stars. Diane had stayed up until 3 a.m. assembling a secondhand bike she'd traded cleaning services for. Maya sat on the living room floor surrounded by shoeboxes of paper trails and finally let herself cry. Not the polite tears she'd shed at the funeral, but ugly, gasping sobs, the kind that shake your ribs. All those years, she'd resented her mother's quietness, thought it meant indifference. When Maya got into NYU, Diane hugged her tightly but said only, "Be careful with your money." Maya had thought it meant lack of pride. Now she wondered if it was fear. Fear that her daughter would drown in debt the way she had.
Fear that love wouldn't be enough to shield her from the world's sharp edges. Leo arrived 2 days later, suitcase in hand, tie slightly crooked. He'd flown in from Seattle, where he worked as a software engineer, making more in a month than Diane had in a year. He took one look at Maya, surrounded by receipts, and collapsed onto the couch. "I found her bank statements," he whispered. "She had $317 in savings when she died." Maya nodded. She sold her wedding ring in 2009. They sat in silence. Then Leo stood abruptly. "We're not selling this place. We're fixing it, together. And we're turning the spare room into a scholarship fund for single moms going back to school. In her name." Maya stared at him. It was reckless, impractical, expensive, and utterly, devastatingly right. They spent the next 6 months restoring the house. Neighbors came with casseroles and stories. She watched my kids during chemo. She gave me her umbrella and walked home in the rain. In the attic, Maya found a shoebox labeled "Important." Inside, a letter. "My darlings, if you're reading this, I've probably slipped away quietly. Sorry about that. I never liked goodbyes." Maya pressed the letter to her chest. The Diane Harper Memorial Scholarship launched that fall. Their first recipient was a single mother studying nursing. At the ceremony, Maya said, "She'd be proud of you." Later, on the porch, fireflies blinked over the yard. "She never asked for anything," Leo said. "No," Maya replied, "but she gave us everything." Love isn't always grand gestures. Sometimes it's a $3.49 box of pasta stretched into 3 meals, a receipt hidden in a book, a silence that shields instead of suffocates. She raised them alone. They never knew her struggle. But now, they would never forget it. If this story felt familiar, share it. Someone out there needs to feel seen. And maybe today, someone needs to hear you say, "I see you."